Good, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from where you are. I can see some people have already linked up. A Jamaican uncle, I know you. It's morning where you are, and it's so cold right now. Some might be watching me from their bed, which is okay. It is very okay, and we have really talked about this topic of cholesterol. There are some notes that are in my I've linked them up. Sorry about yesterday. Some people are following, and we were testing some software, which is we're gonna start using them from next week. The greetings to you, everyone in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Very nice day. It's really hot here, but so cold. I know in the US right now it's so cold. Today we're continuing and we're talking about the good cholesterol. It has been a week of cholesterol, and people have learned so much about the good, the bad cholesterols, and every cholesterol. And we've seen even the good cholesterol has got its significance. All the cholesterols in your body, all of them have got their significance. So it determines with the way you regulate them. Yeah, you see, you can have the LDL, the one that we call the bad one, but you regulate them in a good way so that you can be okay. Now, today we are talking about the good cholesterol. The good cholesterol has no many issues. This one is called high density lipoprotein. It's called the HDL, the good one. But funny thing is, it is synthesized in the liver. It's not like the other one, which was the bad cholesterol, was synthesized within the blood vessels. This one is synthesized in the liver itself. Now, the, it helps for several transports. You see, from the liver, it and other places, not only the liver synthesizes this one. The good cholesterol is synthesized, is produced. Let me use a word like produced, so that people might not be confused, because most of people here are not conversant with medical terms. They are produced in the liver, hepatocytes. Hepatocytes are cells of the liver. Every time you hear about hepatic system, no, we are talking about the system of the liver. Hepatocytes, cells of the liver. Hepatic is the liver itself, major source of production of the good cholesterol. The small intestine contributes so little. There are some cells called enterocytes. Enterocytes are in the small intestines. They secrete, they produce the good cholesterol. And unlike the bad cholesterol, it's not synthesized in blood. I repeat that. It's secreted as a mature particle. So let's go step by step. You remember the steps that we talked about of the bad cholesterol. The same happens here, but in the liver, whereby liver and intestine synthesize apolipoproteins, some proteins from the liver cells is secreted in the lipid, in the plasma. When I'm talking about the plasma, I'm talking about your blood, because your blood contains white blood cells, it contains the plasma itself, it contains the red blood cells, it contains so many things. So when apolipoprotein production from the liver cells are secreted, they are released in your bloodstream. See, your liver cells releases them in your bloodstream. Yeah? And is secreted into plasma as lipid poor protein. So it doesn't have more proteins. They have low proteins in the blood. So apolipoprotein, that is comes the protein that comes from the liver, is the main source of good cholesterol, which is the HDL. Formation of nascent HDL, that is the second step. The second step. So It peaks when it is produced. The proteins are produced from the liver. They peak cholesterols and phospholipids. Those are some components of proteins in the system of your body. And the cells that are in the system called macrophages, remember the cells that kill bad things, yeah? They come up, form nascent disc-shaped HDL. So when macrophages come and they find this is the good cholesterol, they secure it. You remember when macrophages meet the bad cholesterol, they kill it and they form some flakes of fats. But here it's the opposite. If soldiers are walking around the country and they find their citizens, they protect them. So here it's like that. The macrophages who are the soldiers of your body, when they are walking around and they find this released apolipoprotein, when they find this released apolipoprotein that have cholesterol in it and some phospholipids in it, what they do, they tangle them. They come and protect them. And then this occurs in the APA transporter. There is something called ABCA transporter. So complicated issues here, but it's just something that carries this concoction of peripheral cells, macrophages, phospholipids, and apolipoprotein. So when they carry them, remember now we are in the bloodstream, they form a disc shape, form a nascent disc shape, which is the HDL itself. Now, cholesterol esterification. Esterification means formation of cholesterol. Enzyme involved here is called the lecithin cholesterol acetylstyrase. Just know there is an enzyme that helps to come up with the good cholesterol here. When this formation has formed, there is an enzyme. You remember the one that we talked about in LDL? That one, now there is another one here that puts up all this to create a good cholesterol, which is HDL formation. Now, delivery of cholesterol to the liver, how does it happen? HDL delivers cholesterol by direct uptake. The cholesterols that are in your system that circulate, the bad one, the upstreaks of LDL that are sedimenting in your bloodstream, they are uptaken by the good cholesterol, and they go back to the hepatocytes. You said the hepatocytes are the liver cells, the hepatocytes and the liver cells, and they are destroyed. You get it? They are destroyed, they are broken down by some receptors called the SRB1 indirect transfer. So when they are broken down, they form other components like the triglycerides that go to sediment and caution your body from heat. You see, fats have very many functions in your body, like cushioning your organs. We cannot overrule them, and sometimes they form heat. If you are thin, you don't have some cholesterol and fats, you will be so cold and shivering every time. So it's important for this step. HDL is a very important component because it carries the flake-like bad cholesterol, returns them to the liver to be broken down, and creates some other components like triglycerides. Remember triglycerides. So triglycerides are these components here that sheath the muscles and around the belly. Most of the people who take alcohol and meat, most of them they got it around the belly and the other places where you see someone growing so fast with fat. That is triglyceride. Now, you see, uh, these good cholesterols, they have they cannot be circulating in your body for so long, continuously going around your body every time. They cannot. They have to do something or create something. So instead, they can make you sick. So the fate of cholesterols like HDL, what can do they do? They create bile acids. Bile is in the liver, and you know if there is you don't have bile acid, you cannot digest fatty foods. You cannot. So the more you eat fatty foods, the more the biles, the the cholesterols are being broken down to create biles. You see, and sometimes when you create they metabolize and they break down the fats. What do? They are excreted. You go to the loo. Sometimes people go to the loo and they say they have fatty stool. You know why now? Because the the process has taken up. The good cholesterol is a very important thing in life because why? One, reverse cholesterol transport. HDL collects excess cholesterol body from the body tissues and blood vessels. This is the cholesterol that carries the bad cholesterol and the excess cholesterol, and uh, uh, sometimes even triglycerides, the ones we talk, the heavy cholesterols, and macrophages, the cells, and they take them back to the liver. You know the work of the liver. The first thing the liver does is let's say the general thing the liver does to everything is to break down anything so that it can move around your body and be eliminated. And how does this happen? Oh, if anything is not water soluble, if anything is not water soluble, you cannot take it up out your body because we urinate water, we go to the loo, and that process of long cold it needs water. So the liver picks that thing, breaks it down, it takes the ones that is needed for storage, and then it changes that thing to water soluble component that can go back to the to the bloodstream. After it goes to the bloodstream, what happens? It is filtered in the kidney and then you eliminate it. The bigger components go to the stomach and then you go to the long colon. That is the purpose of the liver. See, making things easy to be eliminated because if they stay in your body for so long, they become sewage. Now, liver excretes it in bile. You see, when it has in the first role here, we have said HDL collects excess cholesterol, the good cholesterol. It collects excess cholesterol from body tissues, blood vessel walls, and macrophages. We have said macrophages are cells in your body that kill the bad things and they remove them from the body. And this HDL transports it back to the liver. And when it has transported back to the liver excretes it in bile. It removes it in bile. So when the excess cholesterol goes back to the liver, what happens when the excess cholesterol goes back to the liver? It is broken down into bile. Hmm? You see, and bile is excreted in the stomach to do digestion of fats and proteins. And when this prevents buildup of cholesterol in your arteries because the good cholesterol has carried the bad and it has taken it to break down. Now, protection against atherosclerosis. I've really talked about this thing called atherosclerosis. The main culprit when it comes to high blood pressure. Atherosclerosis, we have said, are toughened veins and arteries. And here we're talking about athero. When you listen about athero, you know it's arteries. So these are toughened arteries that they cannot constrict or dilate or even relax because of the plaque of the bad cholesterol. So, if the good cholesterol is carrying the HDL and the LDL, the bad cholesterol from forming the plaque formation in the arteries, they make it makes it easy for the arteries to relax and constrict so that your body can balance the blood pressure, which is very important in life, and then prevent narrowing and hardening of arteries. That one we have said. Lower the risk of coronary artery disease, heart attack, and stroke. You know, your heart has a blood supply, and the blood supply of your heart through the carotid artery is still the same as the veins and the arteries. So if there is a plague of fats that is disturbing oxygen and blood supply, what will happen? It will cause you to have heart diseases and heart attacks. Mm. And if you get an heart attack and there is ischemia is lack of oxygen from to your brain, what will happen? You end up getting a stroke. Now, you see, the good cholesterol does so many things. The good cholesterol protects anti-inflammatory effects. You see, we talked about the LDL bringing up the cytokines. Cytokines are those products that mediators of some reaction. They mediate some action. So it inhibits cytokines and adhesion molecules. You remember we said when LDL is broken down, what happens? It removes a chemical that makes your blood vessel constrict. That is the bad cholesterol. So if good cholesterol comes in and mediates, it carries, and the cytokines cannot release those acids that makes your vessel constrict. So the inflammation may not be there. And you remember inflammation presents with pain, redness, and sometimes pain, redness, and swelling. So if you hit somewhere and you're presenting with pain, redness, and swelling, you just know your body is compensating to inflammation. It's protecting your body and clearing the bad components. And then we have another interesting fact here called the antioxidant role. And during the antioxidant and detox, I think right now people will not confuse between antioxidant and detoxing. Detoxing is the work of the liver. Primarily, it detox. Antioxidant is the work of some components, even the vitamins that we take, vitamin C, vitamin A, they do antioxidant, breaking down some components so that they cannot be toxic. That is the work of the liver. Antioxidant is making some components not to harm you. So prevents oxidation of LDL. LDL, and you see, HDL, it prevents the oxidation. When this LDL gets oxygen, it breaks down to some components that are not good for your body. So what happens? HDL, the good cholesterol, prevents this role. Oxidized LDL is the most atherogenic form. When LDL, the bad cholesterol, gets oxygen and mediation by catalysis, being catalyzed by some vitamins, you see, and some enzymes, it is the main couplet when it comes to atherosclerosis, the one we said, toughened veins. And so HDL prevents that process. It prevents that process of catalysis, oxidation. This is one of the strongest part when it comes to protection of your body by this good cholesterol. It helps stop. All the other things are just hearsay, but this one is the main one. Because if you didn't have HDL surrounding your body or being secreted from your system, all your veins will be stiff. Many people could have hypertension, not even many people, everyone could have hypertension, and the living for long, like after 20 years, will be a problem. Life expectation would be so low, you see. But HDL takes that role and it helps your veins not to be stiffened by preventing oxidation of LDL, low density lipoprotein. It picks it and returns it back to the liver for breakdown And after it has been broken down into bile acid and other components, the triglycerides are carried and they are going to soothe your organs and your skin. You see, fats sometimes help us to keep warm. Yes. And there is another function. We have talked about the main role, which is oxidation. There is another function which is endothelial function support. Stimulates nitric oxide release. Nitric oxide helps your veins to vasodilate. So vasodilation is being big. When your veins vasodilate, they become big. So when they become big, your blood pressure in the lumen. So dilation causes the lumen to become big. So blood pressure goes down. Lumen is this between the arteries, the inside the arteries. So, but when they constrict, they become small. So you see, if it is smaller, blood pressure goes up. But if it is bigger, it makes your heart to have a good time to push blood, so your blood pressure goes down. So the main thing that the the HDL does is endothelial we call endothelial at the walls of the veins and artery. Endo inside the veins. Endo is inside the vessels, the blood vessels, mainly the arteries and the veins. So when I'm talking about endothelial function, you already know I'm saying inside the blood vessels like the arteries and the veins walls. So HDL stimulates nitric oxide. It stimulates nitric oxide to it stimulates nitric oxide. Just a minute. Yes, 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 yes. Hi. Yes. Mm. Ashikiacha nikupigie kidogo tu I get back eh? Okay. Now, sorry about that. Now we go back to we were on endothelial support. Now HDL is it makes something called nitric oxide in the walls of your arteries and veins, and it makes the veins dilate because now here you having low blood pressure is high and you have HDL. It regulates by releasing nitric oxide, then it makes your vessels to dilate and then pressure comes down. You see, very nice cholesterol which helps us to live well. Now maintain normal blood pressure and blood flow. You have seen how nitric oxide maintains blood pressure and blood flow. Antithrombotic effect, thrombosis, Thrombi is something that can collude. They come in your blood vessels and they block the veins, reduces platelets aggregation. HDL, it reduces blood vessel, the platelets to come and create a clog. Platelets, when you're cut, they're the ones which comes and forms a layer up at a place that you're cut to stop you from bleeding. But they are not supposed to do it inside your blood, in blood vessel. If they do it inside your blood vessels, what will happen? They'll block your blood vessels and blood will stop circulating. So HDL with something called fibrin, something called fibrin, they help your blood the platelets not to collude, so that your blood. Okay, Uncle. Nice, nice. We are continuing. Nice, nice. Today's topic will be short because we are finishing about cholesterol and continue planning about next week topic. So it continues to flow and flow because HDL is making the platelets not to come together to clog your veins with the fibrin. That is called antithrombotic effect, the HDL. And the second last one is called immune and metabolic role. Immune and binds and neutralizes bacteria endotoxin. You see, HDL binds to bacteria that are in your system and some toxins that are in your system and it neutralizes them. Imagine this is high density lipoprotein. It has several works. Imagine that is seven thing that this does. And then we have carrier of important molecules like cholesterol esters, fat soluble vitamin. It carries all A, fat soluble. It carries A, D, and E and K, ADEK. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and K. It is HDL that transports it along your body. Hmm? Antioxidant enzymes. It also carries some enzymes. You see, there are several things that this does. Those are 8 points that we have spoken about. We have spoken about one, reverse cholesterol transport, two, protection against atherosclerosis, three, anti-inflammatory effects, and then we have antioxidant role, which prevents oxidation of LDL, which that one we have said, endothelial function, that is number five, the production of nitric oxide, you remember. Then we have antithrombotic effect, immune and metabolic effect, that is binding to neutralize bacteria and endotoxins. We have carriers of important molecules. When we were in primary school or high school, we always say vitamins that are soluble in fat and cholesterol. A, D, E, and K. We usually called them ADEC. So these are the main culprits is HDL. They dissolve in HDL, and HDL is the main one which carries them around to to oxidize and deoxidize some things in your body so that you cannot say, if your body does not detox itself by the liver and the oxidation process does not occur by vitamins that you're taking, your body will swell because inflammation will be continuous. And you remember, inflammation we talked about is swelling, and redness. So if you meet someone who always scratches himself and swelling and some puffy face, advise this person to do some great things like taking some fats like that contain HDL and vitamins like A, D, E, and K. They really help to to be away from inflammation. Now, we have talked about so many things about the cholesterol. We have seen how cholesterols are made in your body. And funny things, we have seen that several cholesterols, what you eat is not what produces cholesterols. We have seen that it only regulates and synthesizes what is in the liver. So if you take a lot of carbohydrates, you remember from our first topic of when we started, it will create something called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine plus AD coli, they form cholesterol. So when you're given these drugs called the statins, they only stop the enzyme that binds these two when you have taken the food. It stops the enzyme. That is the work of it. So if it stops the enzyme, you go to the loo. You don't absorb the cholesterol. And then there are several things that we can talk about, like the statins drugs that reduces cholesterol. So there are some drugs that reduces cholesterol, but there are some things that we need to learn. I'm sure we have already learned on how we talked about the food and nutrition care. That one is in our previous talks. There are some things you really need to do when you you are eating, and your nutrition, let me say your nutrition care is most important. And even genetic markup is very important when it comes to problems containing that are brought by cholesterols. We have seen cholesterols can bring stroke. They can bring several things like DVT. You can lose your limb because of cholesterol. So I said if you take drugs for more than 3 months, and you still have, you're going to the doctor, and this doctor is still doing the lipid profile, and your cholesterols are not coming down, especially the low density lipoprotein and the HDL. You stop doing the statins or the drugs that help to reduce cholesterol. You do genetic markup to check the enzymes. If your genetic markups come up with elevated enzymes, elevated enzymes genetically, that are making your family line to have high hypertension. Jamaican uncle asked yesterday and explained that cholesterol is not the only one which can give you hypertension because of arteriosclerosis. There are several I mentioned. You can revise them. Uh, you can, when you do genetic markups and you find it's the enzymes, you need to reduce the enzymes or to increase. You get it? Because there are some things like if you don't have enzyme glucose 6 dehydrogenase phosphate in your body, that breaks helps to break down carbohydrates, and you gain something called insulin resistance. This will be a paved way, a highway to have cholesterol, because instead of the food you eat as carbohydrates turning into glucagon, they'll be converted into cholesterol, lipids. So you see, that's how we get fatty livers. Cancers come in, and when cancers come in, problems. So if you take drugs for so long, 3 4 months, your cholesterols are not coming down. Please do genetic markups. Genetic markups are very important when it comes to these issues of cholesterol. So we generally talked about it, and you can revise them any time you need. Don't eat a lot of carbohydrates. They change you to a bin of cholesterol. Now we have some drugs that maintain cholesterol. I'm doing this because you can revise the drugs tomorrow, but I'll mention them today. Tomorrow is a weekend, and the time can be so little. Now, statins, these are statins, they inhibit, statins inhibit HMG CoA. HMG CoA, you remember HMG CoA, what it was. You remember that it was, the HMG CoA was, a minute, the HMG CoA was a product brought from the liver, just like acetyl CoA. It makes liver make less cholesterol. You get it? Now, liver removes HDL from blood when LDL, bad cholesterol, when HMG is not bound to acetyl-CoA. So the statin, atorvastatin, that people are given, hmm, the ravastatin, simvastatin, those are drugs that they stop enzyme HMGA-CoA. They stop that enzyme. And then we have azetamide. Azetamide cholesterol absorption inhibitor. What blocks cholesterol absorption in the intestine. When you take foods rich in cholesterol, ezetimibe, it stops the absorption directly from your stomach. It's not like the atorvastatins that work directly in the liver. We have PCSK9 inhibitor. Those are monoclonal molecules, the ones that were used during the time of of COVID, hmm? Like evolocumab, those are drugs. They are called monoclonal antibodies that prevent the enzyme PCSK9 from degrading LDL receptor. You get it? So that it can clear from the blood, the bad cholesterol. This is a very powerful drug. It's not over the counter. It has to be prescribed by a medical doctor or a consultant. Okay, we go to bile acid sequestrants like resin. Hmm? This works by bile. Ridley, my friend, it's morning and I know it's very cold where you are right now. But it's okay. We are just about to finish our topic. I'm going through the drugs. Bind bile acid in the gut. Liver uses cholesterol to make more bile acid. So when it binds, there is no cholesterol input in your body. Fibrates. Those are, you see, we have more than 5 types of drugs that reduces cholesterol. More. There are 6 types, and people only know of statins. So those, we have fibrates, and the sixth one is niacin, vitamin B3. So right now, fruits can help you to reduce the cholesterols in your body. Vitamin B3, you can get them in fruits and several things. It raises HDL, the good cholesterol, highly. Mm? It raises the good cholesterol highly. So the good cholesterol you have seen, do we get too much carbohydrates from ugali? Yes. Uncle tasted ugali and it was so nice here in Kenya. I think he still loves ugali. Uncle. Now, yes, ugali is the main source of carbohydrates, very rich in carbohydrates, and that's why you see people in Kenya are so big and masculine, because when they take too much ugali, it's converted into glucagon. The excess one, yes, the corn one, yes, that one is what I mean. That one is what I mean. So if too much is the insulin converts it to glucagon stored in the liver. The excess one, what it does, it is converted into glycerols, which are fats. And you see, glycerols are not stored in the liver; they are stored under your skin, your muscles, and some tissues. So you get them. That is totally right, Uncle. Carbohydrates are got from ugali. Let's talk about starch. Some legumes have starch. Rice is carbohydrates. We have beans contain some carbohydrates, although it's a protein. We have the corn. The corn formula ugali. The one in Kenya we call ugali. That one is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, wheat produces carbohydrates. Those are molecules of carbohydrates. So we learn the molecules of carbohydrates like that. But now, good news here we see niacin. Niacin is a vitamin B3. It reduces liver production of very low density lipoprotein. So if you don't have very low density lipoprotein, you will not have the bad cholesterol, which is LDL. In turn, it will raise the high density lipoprotein, which is the good cholesterol. So where you are, please find things. Let me see. So it is important to know foods that can give you niacin, vitamin B12. So if you have been struggling also with uh, cholesterol, we can do foods that sorry that foods that have niacin, vitamin B. It's very important. Greetings everyone. Barbara Wald is here. We welcome Barbara Wald. We are finishing about high density lipoprotein, which is the good cholesterol. We have gone through the drugs and everything, and let's see the foods that are rich in vitamin B, the niacin, B3, the niacin that helps to stop the niacin that helps to stop very low density lipoprotein to go and produce low density lipoprotein. And in turn, it raises the good cholesterol, which is the high density. So these are foods that you can eat, and they give you good results to reduce cholesterol. Funny enough, I know some people will ask me, why are you telling me that? We have chicken breast, very rich in acid. Chicken breast, turkey, beef, especially liver, mm, fish. Fish we talked about. I remember the artist Mark Brown telling me tuna, salmon, and aquarium mackerel. And let me find out through Jamaican Uncle and Ridley. Are tunas and salmon found in Jamaica? What is the best carb to eat? The best carb to eat is you eat every carb but minimal, because if you don't have carbohydrates in your body, you will not have glucose. So we need them direct, because when you imagine when you take ugali and you put it or rice and you eat it immediately, it gives you glucose, right? Because its digestion starts from your mouth. So you minimally take it or you standardize. Carbohydrate is carbohydrate. There is no bad and good. Now we are animal source of niacin, vitamin B3 that helps us to maintain our insulin. Eggs, but small amount. They contain HDL, but small amounts. Pork is there. Fish, we have said tuna, salmon, anchovies, and mackerel. I'm still waiting for the answer. If someone knows, can we find tuna around Jamaica? Where do the people in US get salmon and tuna? Are they imported, or there are some places you can fish them? Please help me find out. And then we have plant sources of B3. We have plant sources of B3, plant source. We have peanuts, very good source of vitamin B3. Mushrooms, especially portobello and shiitake. Mushrooms, portobello, the ones that has a cup on top. Yeah, they have, but be careful when you're taking mushrooms, because you can take poisonous ones. I know how people know how to to choose between the good mushroom and the bad mushroom. There are some mushrooms that are poisonous. Brown rice and whole grain, wheat bran and oats. Wait, just listen to that. Brown rice and what and whole grains. These are very rich in vitamin B3, and as you take them, just like Uncle is asking, which carbs are good to take. Uncle from Jamaica, it's breadfruit, nice one. You here we say, you see, brown rice is a carb, but it gives us another good intervention, raising B3. So this might be a good brand of rice which gives you carbohydrates. Yes, Ridley. What about breadfruit? Tell me about breadfruit. I'm saying you've said breadfruit, wheat bran and oats, and then we have. I don't remember if you have tuna in Jamaica. Yes, but in the US, I think they are imported. Tunas mostly are found east, in the east and the areas of Russia. Yes. Now, legumes, lentils, peas, and beans and peas, they produce a good amount farm raised. Those farm raised. Oh, okay. I can see really saying there are some farms who raise those fish. Okay, that is very nice. That is very nice. tuna. So that means they imported a live fish and then they created farms for tuna in Jamaica and US. But we can get it to buy here in the US. Yes, in the US you can get them that are being imported from the Russian side and the east side. Good. Now we have said legumes. Legumes, lentils, beans, and peas. And you see, beans have some part of carbs on it. Peas are very little. So when you need carbohydrates, brown rice and lentils in your diet, I don't like salmon anymore. The farm raise those fish. Yes, maybe really it's because they are raised in a farm, but when you get, even here in Kenya, when you get fish that are raised in a farm, they taste different from fish that are got directly from the sea and ocean. So maybe if you find one day you are at a place outside the US or Jamaica and they get the salmon from the ocean, it will taste differently maybe. Uh, I know we walk around, we travel a lot. You can test it. You can test it. Yes, yes, very important, Jamaica. And as everyone watching this video, we have some good friends of ours like Jamaican Uncle Ridley. Here I can see them. Please follow their channel. See what they do. They are so charming, and you'll get more information when it comes to touring, traveling, and society out there. So Jamaican Uncle is just by the name Jamaican Uncle and Ridley 1963. You can find them and follow them. Now, we have said about legumes. These are plant sources that can produce vitamin B3. Seeds, like sunflower seeds. Those are, so you see, vitamin B3 is the main help when it comes to reducing the bad cholesterol. And you have seen there are some uh, carbohydrate foods here that can give you vitamin B3. So now, Uncle asked about if is there any good carbs that you can get, you can eat. Now you have the answer. You can do brown rice, you can do the beans, the seeds of sunflower, and when it comes to animal, and you want animal meat and you want niacin, I've seen chicken breast, turkey, beef, especially the liver, fish, pork, and eggs. Good one. Today has been a very long one. We are at 48, about going to 1 hour. About going to 1 hour. You see, uh, why are we going through this in general? It's because there are some misunderstandings when it comes to cholesterol. Those fish, they used artificial feeding colors to let their colors looking bright. Really, when I'll be with you, those area, those places, I think we will go with you and see the fish farms. I'm really interested. When we are here, you had a very short time. We could go at areas of Sagana. Yes, around where we are, but a distance, we see. But I think I'm very sure fish that are brought up in that are taken from the ocean and uh, and the sea are better than those ones that are in a pond. Yes, King Nero, are you still at work? I can see you here. We have gone through the although you are late, we have gone through the good cholesterol, and we have seen how you can eliminate the bad cholesterol using the good cholesterol by yourself. So if you have a lady, uh, anyone above 50 years, or even a young person, because nowadays you really don't know a person who is around 28 and struggling from cholesterol. These young people that are struggling from cholesterol nowadays, it is not good to be given the statins and drugs first. They should be checking genetic markups. Genetic markups. Uh, the genetic markups will tell you why this person has started having cholesterol issues when this still so young. I'm waiting for your. The topic is over. We have talked about the food. So if anyone has, I have 10 minutes. That will be 60. Hey, 1 hour. Maybe we have done 1 hour. If you have a question concerning hypertension, cholesterol, and diabetes, how diabetes is related to how diabetes is related to hypertension, how cholesterol is related to hypertension. Please bring it up for us to answer you or interact. Or if you have something you can add. Yes, yes, yes. Very nice, King Nero. Very, I saw it too. Good, good vibes. King Nero is appreciating Jamaican's uncle's vibe shot in the morning. Yes, wild caught is better. Yes, that's what I'm saying, Ridley. Things that are caught in the wild are better than those ones that are farmed, especially when it comes to meat. Even if you rear them and give them uh, the best, they always tend to be not having that taste. So anyone has a question as we talk, I see King Nero is come, Ridley is here with us. Leila TV, wow. Please follow Leila TV. Nice work she's doing also. Nice work she's doing there also. I'm waiting for anyone who has a question from our topic. But I usually say if anyone has a medical question, that is anyone that has a medical question that is confidential, put it in this email and then attach your number so that we can interact. Okay. .com. Yes, 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 yes. We have had two questions, I think, from Jamaican uncle. The best carbohydrates to use, and that question has been answered. And then we have had another question. So I'm waiting for another one. We still have 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go. Now, eat fish, and when it comes to chicken, what do you eat when it comes to chicken? Chicken breast is really chicken breast is really rich in vitamin B. Chicken breast is really rich when it comes to niacin, vitamin B3, which help us to reduce the bad cholesterol LDL. And how do niacin reduce? We have seen in this way. It stops very low density lipoprotein from going to convert to low density lipoprotein. You see, this is how, and low density lipoprotein is what is in your blood vessels, and it causes you to have hypertension, swellings. Yeah? If you are a lady here and you know about deep venous thrombosis, that is the cause. And sometimes we saw about stroke. Mm? Beef, take the liver. The liver is a good one when it comes to when it comes to niacin. When it comes to niacin. And then we have said the significance of we have talked about the significance of good cholesterol, the high density lipoprotein. Well, how does it help a person? It helps a person by this video. I have to start from it. Leila, no worries, no worries, no worries, Leila. You come from the beginning. It is important, very important. We were talking about the good cholesterol, just as it says, the good cholesterol, which is the high density lipoprotein. And the significance of it in the body, there is reverse cholesterol transport, It takes cholesterol back to the liver, protection against atherosclerosis. It helps your veins not to be tough. And then we have anti-inflammatory effects. We talked about inflammation, antioxidant, which beans best for East Africa to eat. Which beans are best to eat? Um, Anyone who has got that answer here really has asked which beans are best to eat. Which beans are best to eat? Uh, Beans are beans, but there are some that when you eat, they have a lot of um, acidity. So when you take some beans and you feel these beans are, they'll give you nothing, but the adverse effect is you'll get acidity. Yes. So if you get acidity, it is not good to take the beans because you'll have problems. Just get the beans that cannot give you acidity. You see, they are proteins and they produce both carbohydrates. Lentils are good, beans and peas. Peas are good also. I will reach out to you, brother. I'm on a journey this year to make serious changes to my diet. King Nero, yes. King Nero has serious issues. He wants to change things this year. Yes, dieting is very important. Dieting is very important. And as you have seen, as you have seen, we it's not only taking the drugs when you are being told your cholesterol are high so that you can reduce them. There are so many ways you can reduce them using foods. So if you take foods that are rich in acid, you'll be dealing with the cholesterol. You see? So I let me see, Nero. I don't know which you want to go back to the gym, or are you used to junk food, or which? But I know we will talk. I know we will talk. We will talk. So those are the significance of the good cholesterol, endothelial support in the antithrombotic effects, immune attack carriers of important molecules. So when you are at home and you want to prepare dinner and supper, make sure you have some lentils around, lentils around, and some beans, niacin, things products that contain niacin. You have seen HDL carries A, D, and E and K. They carry these fat soluble vitamins. So those are things that we have gone through. Since imagine cholesterol have taken us a week to cover, a whole week. Just imagine. They are so, and we have not yet finished because we haven't tackled something called triglycerides. We haven't tackled triglycerides. Triglyceride is the protein that you have that is beneath your, the one that when people go to do liposuction, they want to reduce the size of the body and they do liposuction. What they are removing from their bodies are the the triglycerides. You see that? Hmm? So we will find time and talk of triglycerides, and we see even the triglycerides is its function. You know, you've seen some people that have done liposuction, and in turn they have died. These cholesterols are not just cholesterols that you hate. They carry a very big role in your body. Mm. See, so for today, the drugs that we have seen, drugs that reduce cholesterol, I will talk about them as we end. Uh, we have seen statins like atorvastatin, ezetimibe, cholesterol inhibitors, ezetimibe. This one works in the intestines. They make you not to absorb the cholesterol. PCSK9 inhibitor. We have said they are monoclonal antibodies. Bile acid separate resins. They bind to bile acids. Fibrates, niacin. We have really talked about food, about niacin. So let's not be going for drugs always. Let's interact with our doctors and reduce the cholesterol that we have in our body. Mm. Thank you everyone for tuning up to this. Um, any question from anyone? Now, if anyone has a question, please shoot it. Shoot it. Have you been struggling with cholesterol? If you have been struggling with cholesterol, let's say, so no, many people don't like talking it publicly. People struggle with weight, and they don't want to talk it publicly. So if you are one of them, and you really need to bring it down, you really need to bring the cholesterol down, and you are struggling, my email is there pinned, the one that you've seen there. We can interact and we see how we can help. And you see, a lot of cholesterol can make you be diabetic. They can make you have insulin resistance. So if you are struggling with high cholesterol and you are diabetic, you already know where the diabetes comes from. Insulin resistance. And you see, the work of insulin is to make you not to have high glucose level by breaking down the glucagon, the glucose that you have in your system, to change it into glucagon that is stored in the liver. And also, in reverse, when you have not eaten, it breaks down the glucagon and brings glucose. So you see, it is very helpful to our bodies. I can see now, no question, and our time is up. Today we have gone at 1 hour, and I would like to thank everyone that has come in and support and interact and study also. So we check out your Jamaican Uncle at 8 at the premiere, and we can interact more. So everyone have a nice day. Tomorrow is a weekend. If we don't talk about triglycerides tomorrow, we will be having another topic on Monday. We will see where to bring it. And I usually say, if you have a interesting topic that you feel we can talk about it, just let me know and I'll organize on that. Blessings, everyone. Have a nice evening. See you. See you. See you. See you. See you.